friends, and welcome to another episode of your Bish Therapist podcast. And not just any episode. I am so excited to have my BFFs and yours from Recap Rodeo. Please welcome Lyndsay and Brady to the show. Yay! Hi, Lyndsay and Brady.
Hi! Thanks for having us back.
Yes.
I have to tell you that besides Mandy, like people love me and Mandy. Just it's psychotic. People
I
love
love
it.
you and Mandy, to be honest.
Well, thank you. But you guys, people, I think love you both as much, if I'm being honest.
Oh my gosh. They love us. They really love us.
They really love us.
It's all I ever needed in my life, honestly.
Validation from Bish Nation. Yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
Bish Nation! Yes! Oh my God, I love that.
I love when you guys are on the show because we have so much fun. It's just so fun because after all, podcasting is supposed to be fun. And sometimes your Bish can be a little serious, you know, when you're talking about serious things, blah, blah, blah. But I just love having you on because we just have a Kiki and it's so fun.
Yes, I know. And I'm so excited because y'all, after you listen to Your Bish Therapist, then you can go and Recap Rodeo and you're going to be on our podcast this week.
That's right.
You get all of us for hours.
For hours, people, hours. I told my husband like how long we were podcasting. He goes, why?
Said it's girl stuff. You wouldn't understand.
Yeah, I was like,
husbands.
you don't understand at all, bro. He's like, how do you have that much to talk about? I'm like, have you met me?
You're
I
like,
could
that's
talk
us with
to
a
a
time
wall.
limit.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, I have to go in 3 hours. Can we make that work?
And we're like, maybe.
Ooh, I know. So yes, but please tune in after. So this will be kind of like part one of the podcast where today we're going to talk about Salt Lake City and Beverly Hills. And then on Recap Rodeo, we're going to be talking Real Housewives of Potomac and VPR, which I watched just for you guys.
Oh, thank you so
Yes!
much.
Oh my God, I
Just for
can't
you.
wait to talk about it.
Thank you.
Mhm,
We're
you're
special.
very welcome. You are. I wouldn't do that for just anybody.
Thank you. I feel honored, honestly.
That is true because we've also sometimes told people we're like, we're not watching that.
Although with you, she was like, what are you guys watching? What are we talking about? And she brought up Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And I was like, you know what, Melissa, for you, I think I could probably chow down about 5 episodes this week if you need me to.
That's true.
I think we're willing to go the distance for each other.
Well,
That
that's
is true.
sweet. But then I responded with, I haven't seen it at all, so don't worry about it.
You actually were like, never mind. I don't want to do that.
Forget it. Well,
When-
can I be honest? Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, it comes out too fast and too furious, and I just can't take in all the information. And by the time I'm ready to do it, it's over. No one cares.
The next season is out.
Well,
Right?
there has to be a balance because sometimes with Bravo, I'm like, why is it taking y'all months for us to
Yeah.
get the episodes? But then Secret Lives, they've already filmed season 4. Like, I mean, it's going to come out. So it's too, can we find that balance in between at all?
Right. Because the thing that I will say is people were so mad about the reunion and they were mad at Stassi. But here's the thing. It's not Stassi's problem. It's the fact that they are being churned out so crazily that they can't talk about things because they're filming. And so, Lyndsay, to your point, Bravo, it's like it's too much time. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, it's like, can I breathe for 1 second?
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. People like want me to cover it, but there's 8 episodes that are an hour apiece. And I'm like, do you understand with my brain? That is so much of my time and energy. And I don't know.
Well,
And the way you do it too. Like I remember last time we talked about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, you showed up with a packet. You were like Monique. You were like Monique at the Potomac reunion with her binder. Like you're not doing this lightly. You're not sitting on your couch just zoned out. You are fully addressing everything that's happening and looking into things in detail.
Well, and
Well,
Secret
thank you,
Lives
Brady.
obvious is very intense, the things that they're talking about.
Yeah.
So having to watch all those episodes and them talking about the most heartbreaking things. And then, that is a lot. And then season 4 is going to come out. And really, if they're going to do it this way, they don't need a reunion.
That is fair.
That's exactly right, Lyndsay. Genius, agree fully. Or like you're doing everyone a disservice having a reunion where everyone's hands are tied behind their backs because they can't say anything because of contracts and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't seem Like, it makes a lot of sense. And I'll just say, I love it. But for me, for my purposes, I just can't catch up. So one of these days, I'm going to cover it, get a packet of my thoughts and cover it, but not today. First, let's get into Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, because we're recording this on Friday, and last night news broke that Bronwyn and Todd are separating after 9 years of marriage. So what do y'all think of that?
I mean, I'm excited, and I say break out the cherries, because let's get it poppin'. I'm very much, divorce is not something you wish for or hope for, but in these with Bravo men, I'm like, leave them. Leave them.
Yeah, I'm always a proponent of leaving your rich husband. You know? I think that, I don't know if this was Bronwyn's plan all along. Like, I've seen some people say, like, this seems like her plan the whole time. Like, maybe she was, like, thinking about this and it just happened. But I'm a fan of anyone leaving their husband. Like, she's had enough of the gout dick. She's had enough of the farting. Like, I would leave Todd too if he couldn't stop farting. So I'm excited for what the future holds for her.
But see, I told you, I think she wants she would be gladly to have the farts, because I don't think he wants to touch everybody else but her for some reason.
He wants to fart on other people.
Yeah, he wants to fart on other people and not with her.
The amount of farting storyline on Salt Lake right now just seems so...
Oh, yeah, because we had Marion Fartgate with the poodle.
And her and Angie literally got in a fight because Angie was making fun of her farts. I'm like, what is happening on Salt Lake? That these are the storylines we're getting, but I just love it. I just love it.
And that's honestly true friendship. True friendship, you're going to fight over stupid stuff like that, and then you're going to kiki about it later. But like, that's what's so funny.
Mary could never be my friend. I call Lyndsay Little Miss Farter sometimes. Okay. That's like a nickname I have for her that she hates.
Which I'm sure she loves that you just shared that on this podcast.
I love I just love like looking at her and I go, okay, Little Miss Farter. And it gives me such joy.
So this is our announcement. Recap Rodeo has ended. Thank you so much for joining me and Brady after 68 lovely episodes.
No, Little Miss Farter ended the podcast. I'm just going to keep saying it now that I know it. Now that I know it's making you crazy, it's happening so much more now.
I can't with you. But Melissa, how were you surprised when you heard? Because did you hear there were rumors, because they just filmed the reunion, that they maybe were separated, but then it officially came out that it seems like they are. Were you surprised at all hearing this?
No, because I have observational skills that show me that Todd does not meet any of Bronwyn's needs whatsoever. And here's the thing. You joked about the cherry, and I'm not joking. There are things sometimes that I watch that seem really silly or small, but in my brain are super indicative. And that was for sure one of them. She was just like, Todd, don't eat this. It makes me upset. And then he did it, and he was like, in response to people saying she planned it. I think that people forget that these are humans and not characters. I don't know that Bronwyn had this like 5-year plan of get on Housewives, dump my husband, blah, blah, blah. But I think two things can be true, which is where, we see a lot of these housewives join shows who don't have great marriages or who have things going on because they're looking for something to like help get them out. Or I think in Bronwyn's case, now that she feels like supported by fans and she like has a job, I think she feels I can step out and not worry about, me taking care of myself and my daughter and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the cherry of it all, I even said this when I was talking to Brady about it. Sometimes it takes just that one thing that seems small, and it's funny to like laugh about, but in her head, it could be like, oh, now, okay, that's it. Because all the other things kind of come in place of, oh, he doesn't respect me. So it might just be that one kind of click that happens. And I also have to wonder if when we saw that conversation of her literally laying it out there, do you want an open relationship? What do you need from me sexually? Like putting it out there, and for him to say, no, we're happy. Everything's great. That could have been the moment where she was like, okay, I literally opened myself up for this.
Yeah.
And it might not be even something that she really wants. She might tell herself that, but some people obviously do want, explore that with their marriage. But I just am she tried to lay it all out there, and for him to give nothing back, that could have been that moment. So maybe it wasn't like this elaborate plan that some people, think she had. It could have just been, I really tried to put it out there, and this is what I got. I'm done.
Yeah, I will also say, if it was an elaborate plan, kind of a round of applause for you, because it worked out really well. I mean, like, I love Bronwyn. I know a lot of fans really love Bronwyn, and like, I'm excited to see. Imagine being that fabulous and married to this boring old dud. I mean, like, I can't wait to see what she looks like single. Like, it's going to be incredible. I can't wait to see what's next for her. Like, I'm very excited for her.
I completely agree. I think, Lyndsay, what you said will resonate with people, because sometimes when you're in a relationship that, like, subconsciously deep down is not healthy, it's not good for you, it will take one thing that you just can't get out of your mind. It's like when I worked with women who were leaving domestic violence relationships, it was like they would ignore, avoid, suppress until something happened, and then they just couldn't, people have this thing where it's called cognitive dissonance, where it's like you may know something, but you're not letting it kind of sit with you. And once you know it, you can't unknow it. And that's not a great explanation, but I hope everyone knows what I mean by that.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was. And I wonder, too, while I think it was brave of her to have that discussion with Todd about opening the marriage, part of me wondered, like, did she want that? Was she using this as an opportunity? Because I do think Bronwyn is fabulous, and I do think, she's young and beautiful and all these things. And I just can't imagine. She didn't seem happy with Todd. She just didn't.
No. And maybe when they got on the show, maybe she was like, oh, maybe Todd will respect and be nice to me now.
Yeah.
But then I was telling Brady this. It kind of sucks because maybe I was just naive. After the first reunion, I kind of was like, oh, wow, maybe Todd actually did some reflection and kind of owned up a little bit to his actions, and maybe we'll see some changes. And then quickly in season 2,
he ate the cherry.
He ate her cherry.
Do you remember we posted a clip from our podcast about him eating the cherry, and we joked about divorce, and someone was like, that's too wild. No one would ever get divorced over the cherry. And I'm sitting here like, they literally got divorced.
They actually did, though. So boom.
Yeah. It was the last
TikTok commenter. Take that TikTok person.
It's kind of like
Lyndsay was right again.
When he picked up that cherry, you know how some people, it's like the universe came into her mind and she saw flashbacks of everything, and it opened up her eyes, and then she was like, I'm taking my ring off. I think she had like what's it called when people take like D&T, whatever was a drug, I don't know.
DMT or like ayahuasca?
Yeah. She had a moment.
They have like a psychedelic trip.
Yes.
And then
the universe like sucked her out, like everything everywhere all at once. She was like, I need to get a divorce.
I need to get a divorce, babe.
I could also see like the timing. I mean, Gwendolyn's getting out of the house. Like, I could see her staying in this marriage for security, and then also for the keeping everything regular for her kid, because like she prioritized, I think, everything else over her own self. And I feel like this divorce,
did.
like with what you said, like she's finally prioritizing herself and realizing she doesn't need that man.
Right. And I think
especially when that man can't even validate her in the way that she fucking needs. She needs someone who's going to tell her how great she is, and he just refuses to do it. I'm sorry. I just got so mad. She's been traumatized by Muzzy for years.
Who else does that? Her mom.
Muzzy, I know. Yeah. So she's falling into the patterns. But this is free.
No, you're right. And I said this all last year, is that I think the reason why she chose Todd is because of Muzzy. Because when we don't get the love we need from our parents, we spend the rest of our lives trying to convince other people to love us. Not realizing that we don't need to play that game, that people will love us and we don't need to beg for it. I think that she picked Todd out of a trauma response, and she now realizes, which this happens to a lot of folks, when they become empty nesters. All of a sudden, you're just left, the two of you. And unless you're in a throuple, then the three of you or what have you. But
unless
either way,
Lizzie in the house,
right? But I think that does really. I have seen it a lot. My husband said to me, he's like, "Who stays together for so long and then divorces in their 50s?" And I'm like, literally, so many people, because you realize that this is not the person who I want to grow old with, who I feel safe with. And I think, too, as we get older, speaking of myself, healing has kind of made me feral and more feral in that I'm like, if it isn't excellent, I don't want it. If it isn't love that I deserve, then no, thank you.
Yeah.
And I wonder
for yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Whereas before I might have just taken like anything I could get. I think she's realizing, like, I truly think the Bravo fans have met her need in terms of feeling loved and supported. Yeah. And that was enough to get her to be like, oh, wait, I feel like I deserve better.
Yeah. And I think a big reason why she and Todd got together is look at like how her life was with her mom and her past relationship. And then here's Todd with security and safetyness. And that's what it felt like in the moment, right? I think Todd has probably always had these behaviors, but they were easy to overlook because she had that security.
Said, I'm creating a safe home for Gwendolyn. Yeah. I'm okay. We're all doing well.
Also, it felt familiar because it seems like Todd and her and Muzzy have, similar attributes. So everything felt safe. But then when you're on a reality show, like we see with a lot of Real House marriages, although it is a reality show and things are edited, there are some things you can't edit. And like we are watching, you know what I mean? Like we are watching the true disrespect, the true, like even my husband, I'm more of an emotional person and he is just so calm and like level headed. He still allows me to like feel what I need to feel, even if he doesn't quite get it.
And he doesn't invalidate
and he doesn't. And even if I say like, oh man, like I'm, being this kind of person, he goes, no, you're not. Like, you're allowed to be upset. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, and she does not, Todd does not let her do that.
That's so
He wants to shut down the emotions.
So true.
And you know what I mean? And that could be, his upbringing, like, and also him being older, but like, you have to be able to communicate with your partner and they cannot but the thing is that it seems like she's trying to communicate with him and he just shuts it down.
Yeah, I definitely think she gave him a lot of opportunities. But so what was interesting on the most recent episode of Salt Lake City is that they got together. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but they got together and she was like, Angie was being messy, aka doing her job, right? She was just like,
yes,
carrying
Producer
the bone.
Angie came out.
Right. I was like, oh, producer Angie is clocking in. And she's like, so what about this open relationship thing? And Bronwyn was like, she clutched her pearls. And I was like, girl, you can't. Here's what bothers me about Bronwyn. You can't, like, when she's emotionally elevated, she'll be like, the sky is falling. And then as soon as things are better, she's like, what sky? What are you talking about? And it's like, girl.
Oh my God.
That's
she's
me.
Chicken Little.
That's literally
she
me.
is Chicken Little.
I think I wonder if, though, her downplaying of the conversation when Angie brought it up was also a reaction to Todd's response to her having the conversation with him. Because I wonder if Whitney and her conversation happened and then the conversation with Todd happened, where she had already kind of like talked about it. And then when Todd shut it down, maybe she kind of like took it back. So I don't know. I wonder if that was why she was all of a sudden had amnesia about it or like denied it.
Oh no, not amnesia.
Stop talking about it.
And I also think like with her, I think I'm seeing someone who's kind of over it and I can have this attitude of being like, no, everything's fine. It's great.
It's great.
It's never been better. Because you know what I mean? Because she's kind of, I think she just had to tell herself that. But I completely would be the other woman in that situation being like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, what? She was like, everything's okay. I was like, where? Where is it okay? What do you mean?
When did this happen?
But I think you're both right, where when we feel like we've wrapped up an issue and we've put it to bed, there's a part of us that can forget that 2 weeks ago we were screaming, crying to our friends that we hate this man. And then, 2 weeks later, we're fine. So that's fine too. So, Bronwyn's a human being. And I think that's just a human thing to kind of like be more open about things when things are going on. And speaking of that, I feel excited to see how Bronwyn, how open and vulnerable she might be without Todd constantly chin checking her. Speaking of Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yes. Well, and imagine too, like, let's say I'm with my group of friends and I'm actually feel like I'm comfortable and I'm at the height of my emotions and I'm able to get it all out and feel it. And then I go to my husband who tries to downplay my emotions, who actually tries to tell me that's not what's happening. We're perfect. We're fine. So then when I'm asked about it again, you're defeated at that point. So you're going to be like, oh, yeah, everything's fine. That's great. And so I don't blame Bronwyn for being that. I think with Bronwyn, I think sometimes people are they call out like, oh, she's lying or it's this. And these are human emotions that we see.
Right.
And different conversations happen that affect our emotions. But I also, again, don't blame the other women being like, well, hang on, let's circle back to this because that's not what we were told.
Yeah.
And so I get them being confused about it as well. But I'm very curious at the reunion what we'll get with Bronwyn, because I think she'll be more vulnerable. And I look forward to hearing that because I think Bronwyn's at her best when she's vulnerable.
Yeah.
I would argue all housewives are at their best when they're open and vulnerable.
Yes,
that is true. For all of us, I think that is truly what fans want to see. And as opposed to the one thing that really is ruining Salt Lake City for me is Meredith and Lisa. Because we start out seeing them do this beautiful trip to Greece, which I've never been to Greece, but I'm like, my God, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. Yes. Breathtaking.
In paintings. Just
Literally.
Paintings. It's beautiful.
It's
Thomas
so
Kincaid
gorgeous.
could never.
Oh, could never. So here's the interesting thing. So they fly to Santorini, and which, by the way, it was an uneventful flight. But then you find out that during the layover, Lisa accused Angie of copying her Cartier watch. And I swear to God, I fell asleep. I was just like, I can't with either of you. I can't.
Yes. They have to stop having whose dick is bigger contests.
No. I want them to compare dicks all episode long. It's so fucking funny to me. Heather with her shit-eating grin being like, we actually got one, and so did Whitney.
We got two.
We got
Heather
Pogo.
Literally was so mad about how obnoxious Lisa was being that she's like, I'm going to march into this duty-free Cartier store in the airport and buy two watches, one for me, one for Whitney. Who cares?
One for my broke cousin.
Right. Who clearly can't afford it because of her MLM healing journey.
Oh my gosh. And then you have Mary that's like, these are grandma watches. I wouldn't even give this to my grandpa husband.
I know. I died. I was like, Mary, she just brings the comic relief. But that's funny, Brady, you saying that, and listen, it is kind of funny, but for me, I just feel like, who cares? Who cares? It's such to me, it's so indicative of crippling insecurity that I'm just like, Lisa is 50 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
50 years old. And she and Angie are like, well, I have 4 Porsches and I have 3 Porsches and I have 2 watches. And I'm just like, who cares? I can't.
And you know what? I don't think Angie is like this with other people.
No, I think Angie is like this exclusively with Lisa.
I think they bring out I think Lisa brings out the worst in Angie K. And so when they're together, Angie will do this. I really don't think Angie does this with other people. I do think Lisa does it with other people, though.
That's what I was going to say. I think Lisa is the source of that insecurity. And I think even it is pretty evil to be like, your insecurities are stupid. I got a Cartier watch too. Kind of just throwing it in her face. But I don't know. I love it.
But Lisa was kind of able to laugh at it a little bit. During that dinner, it didn't get so heated. I thought she did.
Get heated, but I think she was not happy.
I don't know if it was real laughter.
I agree
maybe it was kind of fake. But I don't know. I saw maybe it was my hopeful thinking that she was able to laugh at herself.
I pray that they all figure out every expensive purchase Lisa. Like, we know if Heather and Lisa are comparing pocketbooks, Heather's coming out on top.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love for Heather's mission to just like diminish her in this way where she like gets every expensive thing that Lisa, just to make her crazy.
She'll explode.
That'd be so fun. Lisa's head would explode. But here's the thing. One of you just said something that sparked something in me, which is like, Lisa's behavior, it deserves empathy because it's obnoxious, but it deserves empathy because I think it comes from truly crippling insecurity.
Yeah.
And so part of me, what I wish the women would do or someone would do is say, listen, Lisa, this is silly and you're worth more than this. And if you feel like you aren't, let's work on that.
That
might break her. Yeah.
I know.
If Heather was like,
but
Lisa,
she needs that.
But also, I don't know. That would be such an interesting thing to hear someone say to her.
And that's why I want to hear it. Because as a therapist, like, I know those things that will literally break people down into a puddle of tears. And sometimes you just have to do it. I think Lisa needs someone to hold her by her shoulders and say, girl, let's talk about the real issue. You didn't get enough love from your parents. You spend your life trying to prove that you're valuable. And it's real obnoxious and you're worth more than this. So let's talk about it. I want to see Lisa cry without putting her sunglasses on and talking about glam and persons and
Lisa.
The glam this episode, I was beyond annoyed at Lisa about. Like, it was so obnoxious.
Lisa needs what would little Lisa think about this moment? Because my therapist says, what would you tell little Lyndsay? And I say, you stop it right there. You stop it right there. I don't want to talk to her. You're going to make me be nice to her. I won't do that. That is, like, you're so right. She needs one of those moments. We kind of even saw that. Even the freaking, the psychic or whoever.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
The fraud.
He barely said anything. And she was like, just started bawling about her relationship. I think, all he asked was like, I see something with your relationship. She's like, oh my God, my husband hates me. And I don't know, like, just like one little thing I think would break her. And I think that would make us enjoy Lisa more. Like that vulnerability.
Yes. And that's the thing. I do feel bad being hard on Lisa and Meredith, but it's not a mature behavior and it just annoys me. But it comes from that place of like tending to our little inner children. And Lyndsay, I have to say, you're a therapist. I love that, A. And B, I agree. You do need to we all need to look at what the little inner child in us like needed but didn't get or is saying to us that we're not listening. And I understand that's less fun, but it's just Lisa deserves to be happy. And I think she's getting in her own way because she's prioritizing the wrong things. Like instead of listening to John, she's doing a scene with her purses on the floor, like sprawled out. And I'm like, I snooze. I fell asleep. I check out because it's just so boring. I think that in reality, a lot of people, in all seriousness, it's hard to get in touch with that inner child stuff and to be vulnerable and to heal. It is, I said this on another podcast. I forget who I was podcasting with, but I was like, healing is branded as an era, but it isn't an era. It is a lifelong blood, sweat, and tears, grueling, heinously awful, but beautiful process. That's how I describe it. And so I think that when we don't have the courage to heal, things come out sideways and it comes out in, arguing about Porsches and watches. And it's just it's just stupid.
I love, and again, thank you, Mary, and also Bronwyn for the comic relief because Bronwyn in her talking head, she goes, you know what? Someone did buy it first and I'd like to see who.
She said, we can actually get the receipts. And like, I would love to know.
Angie K's like, pull up the Facebook. Call Mark Zuckerberg.
She did say there's a picture on my Facebook with my Porsche. Oh my God.
No, her watch. She had her watch.
Oh, her watch.
Yes.
Sorry.
But you guys are so right that I feel like Lisa brings out the worst in Angie K because Angie K can be like, she's one of those girls who can go either way. She will be like, oh, well, when I'm with Lisa, I'm going to get in the gutter and argue about dumb stuff that maybe if she were with Heather or someone else that she'd make fun of herself for doing. But that is such an interesting observation. And it's like, what it irritates me is when Lisa and Angie K get locked in, it's like a dog fight. And there's no separating them. No one wants to listen. No one wants to hear. They're just like, yip, 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 yip.
It's like two pit bulls locked in each other, and someone's got to shove their finger up another one's asshole to get it to stop.
Right.
What, Brady?
You know when you're getting bit by a pit bull, to get it to stop biting you, you put a finger in its butt?
Didn't Mary say that? Mary did say that.
I mean, it's common. It's a thing. You put a finger in the dog's, not in like a sexual way, like a stop it.
Mary also did bring that up.
So that's what they have to do to Lisa and Angie. Mary has to stick her finger.
Well, that is information I don't know that I ever knew.
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you're not around big dogs often. It can be dangerous.
Well, also justice for pit bulls, because pit bulls are the sweetest animals. It's the owners that make them problematic. I once knew a pit bull who was afraid of paper towels. Come on.
That's adorable.
I know.
You would wave a paper towel and
Stop
it would get
it
scared.
right now.
Every
swear
pit bull
to you.
I know is the sweetest baby on the planet.
Let's
get
it's
that
the owners that But so if you're being attacked by a dog, shove your finger up their butt and that stops it. Okay.
I don't know if you're actually supposed to do that though.
I mean, I wouldn't want to do that, but
I do think Mary actually, I believe, did bring that up on Salt Lake City too. And then
that is hilarious. Okay then. All right.
The more you know.
The more
I'm happy to come on this podcast and teach you things, Melissa.
Thank you, because I had no idea. You might save lives, Brady. I might save lives.
Could you imagine the message? I was listening to your bitch therapist, and at that moment, my dog locked on, and I had to do.
And I was just like,
this is Angie from Oklahoma. Here's a 5-star rating. I had a dog chase me, and I heard Brady on your podcast say, put a finger up his butt, and I did it, and I'm alive to this day.
That big one's right. He That big one's right. You got to put the finger up the butt. I don't know why the fans are hillbillies, but listen, we're from hillbilly country. We love you, hillbillies. I think
because we're hillbillies.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And see, this is why I love podcasting with you, because here I am talking about emotional maturity, and then we just go into fingers up butts, and I just love you all so much.
Listen,
I do.
And that's what we should all go back to.
These are the lessons we need in life the most.
Okay, what I loved, so Mary for me has been such an MVP lately of all of these episodes, not just for, her comic relief, but also she was talking to Heather and Meredith about like, you all just have to be honest with each other. And I'm telling you, I think that Mary is just changed by Robert Jr.'s addiction and recovery and all of that. And you can tell she just like understands you just have to be real with the other person. And so, but I love that like Heather said she has a hard time being real with Meredith because of Meredith's reactions, which by the way is why Meredith reacts like that. People who react very large, it's usually to manipulate or to throw people off the scent, or to not have to take accountability. But the one really important thing that I want to say here is that if you are giving feedback in a respectful manner, if you're being kind, respectful, and coming from a place of love, the other person's reaction isn't your problem. Blue.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah, because what Heather's bringing up to Meredith, there's nothing necessarily wrong with what she's saying to her, or like, it's not vicious, it's not malicious, it's not any of these things. It's just what happened. And I think you're dead on saying that Meredith knows that reaction will shut them down. And that's what she's been relying on since season 1 is like a big blow up and everyone leaves her alone. So
that's exactly it's a pattern. Right.
And all Meredith has to keep saying is, no, you're seeing, no, that's not it. That's not what I said. That's not how it is. And you're just like, well, wait, no, like, that is what you said. And also I have eyes and ears. Like, Meredith is so good at that. It's just saying, no.
Meredith is such a gaslighter. It's, because I do think along with the term narcissist, gaslighting is also very overused, but not in this situation. Meredith is literally gaslighting all of her castmates and the people who are watching because she doesn't want to own her shit. She's allergic to ownership. And the one thing I can promise you is that the only way to grow and evolve is to take ownership of our shit and do it different. That's the only way. it's just a fact. And it makes me wild that but that's why she's gaslighting. But the other thing is, so Mary talked to Meredith about it, and instead of just being honest with Heather, she bought her an evil eye necklace, which I'm like, again, I fell asleep. I was like, are you? I think Meredith and Lisa are just like AI. They're just AI. And I don't understand what they're doing.
I don't know what it is about both of them just having this alliance this season with each other. But again, I will always say this. The only reason why I think what really went down on that plane with Meredith was bigger than what Meredith and Lisa are saying is because of Mary. If everyone else was just being dramatic and like making it bigger, Mary would be like, y'all are doing too much. Meredith wasn't that bad. But we saw Mary this season be actually concerned about Meredith and being like, I'm actually concerned that you do not remember what happened. Like, you did do this. You did say this stuff. Mary doesn't even really like Meredith that much. Like the episode before, she was saying, you're boring. Go jump in the ocean. So like, Mary's not going to be out here trying to have these one-on-one conversations with Meredith and being like, I'm concerned for you. And so when you have Meredith then giving a gift to Heather, and Heather's like, thank you so much, but that's really not what I need in this moment. Yeah. And I will say, like, Heather is, unfortunately, because of with the plane stuff, and I know at the reunion they talk about it, I sadly, I really don't think there's footage. Maybe there is, but I just don't think there is.
I have information about that.
Okay.
So no, Heather went on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy asked her, but she confirmed that there's no footage because of when Brittany recorded everyone in the Sprinter van and everyone lost their mind.
Okay.
All the cast was afraid to record it because of that. But she said that it does get brought up at the reunion. And I'm like, listen, I can understand that of the cast, but where was production? Production is sitting in the first class cabin, and it is their literal job.
I think they put them in coach.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? When I saw it, they did like a little infographic of like where people were sitting and where production was sitting. And it does seem like the production and the ladies filled the first class cabin.
Okay, production of Salt Lake City. We see you flying your people first class. Thank you for treating your workers with respect.
Yeah, exactly.
I also kind of heard that the people that were on the plane, as far as like production wise, weren't really the people that are like on the ground. I don't know.
Were they the B team? The C team?
I think kind of so.
Damn, we're putting the C team in first class. Honestly, respect to this production company.
I don't know. I've heard so many different things. But anyway, because we don't have like all of this, footage or whatever, it would have been nice if like Meredith and Heather had kind of like one last conversation to kind of just knock it all out and just be like, hey, what was bothering me so much is like Lisa, well, first of all, Lisa then made it about herself, but then Lisa was presenting as like, you're not hearing her and what she's thinking, what she's feeling. I'm like, well, vice versa, babe.
Yeah,
like,
vice versa.
Meredith is also not hearing what Heather is having to say.
Right, but Lisa is the queen of that. Lisa is the queen of like, the only reason she stuck up for Meredith is because she's like, meet more, must be a loyal bot and want people to have my back. It wasn't like Lisa wants people to stan her bad behavior. So that's what she thinks being a friend is. And being a friend is the opposite. Being a friend is like, excuse me, what did you do? Like, that is real friendship, calling each other out on stuff for sure. But to your point, Lyndsay, if Mary is saying this was bad, it was bad. Because Mary, this season, the one thing I like about Mary is she's not choosing sides. She's not choosing loyalties. If someone's wrong, she's going to say you're wrong.
Yeah.
And her friendship with Angie is real. If one of them are wrong, they're going to tell the other one, you were wrong. And that is what I love about it. But Lisa and Meredith aren't capable of that. And so I think why Heather not having another conversation with Meredith was like, yeah, duh, because you can't talk to a brick wall. You just can't. And Meredith is not going to, even though she sat down with Brittany and she like admitted the behavior. She just went back to denying it. And I'm like, that's not an apology.
I also appreciate Heather in like at that table when she's like, well, I'm not going to have a one-on-one conversation where you can like tell me something else or not own up to something. Like, why don't you have it with the group? Because this is a thing we all experienced. I appreciate
and
Heather
it's our job.
firm on that, being like, I'm not going to go one-on-one and let you gaslight me. And I appreciated that from Heather because I feel like that is what we would have seen another Brittany scene where Meredith gives a half-assed apology and then downplays all of her behavior again.
Yeah. I kind of also wonder, too, if Meredith wanted a one-on-one off camera and Meredith actually would have like said more what happened and then deny, you know what I mean? Then deny everything that she said.
I wonder what kind of one-on-one was proposed. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And I agree. I think Meredith wants to be more honest away from cameras, but this is your job. So it's going to be like, I wrote this in my interpretation is that in general, is it a good rule of thumb to have private convos not in front of a group? Sure. But this is your literal job. That's why cameras are pointing at you and you're getting paid. So, you know, there is also that. But listen, we could talk about Salt Lake forever. Was there anything else before we moved on to Beverly Hills that you wanted to know?
I was just shocked at Salt Lake. I called Lyndsay about 5 minutes into the episode. I said, Lyndsay, we're already in Greece. I don't know what the hell happened. We're already in Greece. They moved so quick. I was like, God damn. We turned on the TV and they said, well, Opa.
Here we are.
I was like, holy shit. I just liked the fast pace of it. That was fun to me.
I also have to call out Bronwyn was wearing a sweater that said slut for deviled eggs. And that made me so happy.
I didn't even clock that.
Also,
you didn't, Brady?
I am a slut for deviled eggs. I feel that in my bones and I need to acquire this sweater ASAP.
It was great. And then Angie being like, oh, look, it's the Mediterranean. It was not the Mediterranean, y'all. It was a different sea.
Yeah.
Ew. Lisa walking around town and being like, yeah, I went to see all the sights. Like after she gets her makeup done. The whole makeup thing was really annoying.
With her sunglasses on. She got glam. It was 3 hours late. And then had her sunglasses on.
I just don't understand. I don't understand. Oh my God. I don't like it.
It's crippling insecurity. It really
is.
Because I have known people, women, who they cannot go out without 4 inches of makeup on their face, which to me actually makes people look worse when you have too much, right? But
it can make them look older.
I think fans are really vicious, and I think that you have to have a really thick skin if you're on TV. People are gonna call out double chins and ankles and all of this, and it's like, and I think, which I'm definitely displaying mine here today. But I think that some people, like, you just have to take that with a grain of salt. But when you do have crippling insecurity, it hits your most painful wound. Yeah. And so that's the thing that I hate. But because Lisa is beautiful and she's wonderful and she doesn't need all this to be worthy.
I also think it's a little bit going back to like the flex of it all. It's also, I paid someone to be here to do my makeup. It's another flex. And I find that obnoxious too, especially, I don't know, like.
Well, it is.
Obnoxious.
After how many seasons, we still don't really know who Lisa is. Like, we just,
true.
We need to, if she wants to continue as a housewife, I think she would have a game-changing season if we really saw more of a vulnerable side to her.
Lisa would never be more popular than if she put down all of this crap and was just like, yep. And was just like, my parents didn't give me the love I need. This is how I felt. It's really hard. Sure. Like, you know. And the last thing I'll say before we move on to Beverly Hills is like, Lisa was like, she said something to the effect of like, I don't want to look ugly even for a day. And it's like, if you think you look ugly without makeup, girl, you need to get in touch with little Lisa and give her some love. Yeah. Give her some love.
The ugly's in here, Lisa.
It's in here, buddy. It's not
you look
out
gorgeous
here.
Outside.
That's right.
You're ugly.
But like, where did she learn that? When did those thoughts start happening?
Oh my God.
Who was there? So
let's get Lisa on this call and we can ask her what little Lisa.
How did she see her mom talk about herself? You know, because that's a huge. growing up,
exactly.
You know, seeing how your parents talk about themselves.
Also, the misogynistic culture of the Mormon religion. It is very, women have to be, right? You have to get up, you have to work out, you have to look amazing, you have to raise the kids, you have to cook a loaf of bread or something, whatever you do. Yeah, you just have to do all these things. And it's like, I do blame, and women, what happens is we internalize the misogyny and then we turn it on to ourselves. And I'm here to be team fuck misogyny. Loving ourselves is a radical act of feminism, self-love.
Oh, yes.
Claps.
So,
Love it.
Yourself is a radical act of feminism blew my pussy up. That is such a sentence.
Brady skyrocketed out of the room.
Shot out of my
shot right out of a seat. Like someone stuck a finger up his butt almost. All right. So speaking of vulnerability and honesty, let's talk about Beverly Hills, because so we were talking a little bit before the pod, and what we all kind of felt is that the premiere episode of Beverly Hills was very snoozy. But the second episode was good, and we finally got what we were looking for from Kyle for a long time. So, well, I said that in Brady, your face. You were just like, meh. What?
I mean, like, I just, like, I'm not going to celebrate you coming out as kind of a lesbian 3 years later. Like,
so you know
chill.
what?
I appreciated the honesty. I did.
You know,
but like, it wasn't super exciting to me.
You know what? I had such a different perspective because when Kyle first was talking, I did a lot of reflection when Kyle was talking because to Erica, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, you and Morgan really were out here taking pictures together, you know, making a video and like doing all this stuff. But then when Kyle said, you know, once the speculation and everyone was talking, I was like, well, but you guys caused the talking, the speculation. But now I'm wondering, is more, because we're not even really allowed to say Morgan's name on the show, it feels like. So I'm kind of wondering in my head, were Kyle and Morgan like talking, and really Kyle, I think, wanted to be more open about stuff than Morgan. And I was shocked by that. I thought it would be the other way around. So I actually thought Kyle was very vulnerable in this moment and saying, you know, when this, you know, I wanted to kind of be open about our relationship and talk about it more. The other person didn't. And what am I supposed to do? I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was the other way around.
Right. And here's the thing. People call me a Kyle apologist, which I absolutely hate because just because I refuse to hate Kyle doesn't mean I'm a Kyle apologist. And I agree, Lyndsay, with you. Like, I understand, Brady, what you're saying. And a lot of people think this is too little too late. But I would just beg people to think about one thing, which is how might you react if you got out of a 30-year marriage with a man thinking you're straight your whole life, you have kids, you dedicate your life to raising these kids, and then all of a sudden you get out of this marriage and you're like questioning your sexual orientation. I think that is something that people are not, they don't want to give her any credit for or like understand, maybe empathize with how hard that might be, all while under a microscope. But Lyndsay, you're right that Kyle can be contradictory, where she for sure participated in the media circus of it all and then was like, well, I don't understand. It's like, well, come on, girl, you participated. But I also do have empathy for all of it. And to be clear for people listening, in case you didn't watch it or you didn't hear it, let me say what Kyle told Erica. She said, if you were seeing someone that you cared very much about that specifically said, please, I'm not a part of this group, be respectful, would you betray that person just because people are curious? Kyle goes on to say, I was seeing someone who I cared very much about, revealing she was falling hard, but the person she was with didn't want to discuss the relationship. So obviously we know she's discussing Morgan Wade. And the fact that she won't even say Morgan's name is really interesting to me.
I know.
I think it's respectful, I would say.
I think, can I be honest? And this is just my opinion, I kind of wonder if, I think it's interesting. We saw Morgan last season. They were all friends. Then they do that music video together. A part of me, I'm like, Morgan, did you use this to launch your career? And like Kyle was like catching more feelings and again was going to be open about things and kind of thought like, oh, we'll do this music video. We'll do this. And like, it will all come to light. Like and that is just one theory that I have. It could not be, but it's so weird to me that it went from that to we can't say Morgan's name. I don't want to do. I'm not in this group. Well, bitch, you're on last season. So like, what happened?
2 seasons ago.
I don't know. Or maybe it was 2 seasons ago. But I'm just like,
two. You're right. I think it was 2.
So I'm like, so what happened? So sometimes that's with Beverly Hills. I wish Erica, and I get Erica and Kyle are close now, but Kyle needs to be pushed a little bit more in questioning. And that's where Beverly Hills loses me because I still have more questions for Kyle. And I hope at the reunion, Andy's like, can we not say her name? Like, what's with that about?
I do wonder, if I think one of the reasons I'm a little sour on it is it does feel like, it feels like, okay, I'm just going to say it. It kind of feels a little damage control-y on Kyle's part because she saw the fandom turning on her for not being open and honest about this thing. Then Kyle said, instead of taking the blame and kind of what you were saying, Melissa, explaining how difficult of a journey it is to go from a 30-year heterosexual relationship to experimenting and finding new love. I think I would have appreciated this scene more if Kyle's point of view was more talking about that experience over specifically talking about, I couldn't share the Morgan stuff. Like, it felt a little, it felt a little more like blamey.
Like she was playing victim.
Way. Yeah.
No, it felt,
and Kyle does that.
And
that
I
is
think
true.
if she explained with kind of what you were talking about, the experience of realizing these things, realizing you have some same-sex attraction, realizing, all these things, I think that would have been a more interesting point of view for this conversation. And that's why it soured me, because it felt more damage control-y than...
That's so valid.
Totally. That is totally valid. And I do completely agree, because it's like, you could have even done this last year, right?
Yeah.
They were begging her to do it last year, actually.
And it's not like she revealed more information or any... it would have been the same information she could have revealed last season by not saying Morgan's name at all.
Yeah, that is true. Is it more just damage control? And Kyle does seem to really care about what the audience thinks and what other people think.
She's very in tune.
Yeah, she is. When I actually do think it could be more layered and there is more to it. Like you and Melissa both said, you're in this marriage for a long time with a man, and then you have a friend and you start catching feelings for that friend that you've never had before. That's your story. That's where the story is, babe. So why can't, it would have been nice to get that.
Yeah.
You both said two things that really made me think, and I couldn't agree more, which is number one, Erica she needs to push Kyle more. Someone needs to push Kyle more. Yes. Beverly Hills, the reason people don't like that franchise is because it's like secrecy. And it's not as open as other franchises, and they don't challenge each other. Like in Potomac, they'd be like,
this wouldn't fly in Potomac.
No, honey.
Oh my
God.
The way it would not fly in Potomac.
Right.
Ashley was out here humping legs, and they're like, Ashley!
Literally. So I do think you're right about that, number one. But number two, I did feel a certain way about Morgan. Like, she's a public figure too, right? It's not like we're talking about a private citizen and a reality star. We're talking about two public figures, one who literally did a music video, who her career probably got huge because of this whole Kyle thing. And now all of a sudden, y'all are kind of blaming each other. It does feel messy. It feels victim-y. It feels damage control for sure. So I think that this is a case of two things can be true. She should have said this earlier. She could have explained this without talking about Morgan last year. It was a choice not to. I do think now she's doing damage control. And also, I think what she's going through was hard and legitimately really difficult and interesting and led her to not know how to navigate it. Because when humans don't know how to navigate something, it's hard to talk about something that you're like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm doing. Am I gay? Am I straight? I have no idea.
Yes.
But all this other stuff is very valid in terms of, I think, how fans are feeling really frustrated and why they get frustrated with the franchise. It's like, Erica was like, well, I think you're very brave. And it's like,
bare minimum.
She called Erica and she said, babe, I'm going to tell him about the lesbianism. So can you just come over and nod your head and call me brave?
Right, exactly.
Because I think Dorit if it was would have pushed it more. I think even Sutton would push it more.
Yeah.
I think all of them. And I do, that's also kind of complicated too, because I'm like, Kyle, are you actually friends with any of these women that you feel comfortable sharing it with? Because are you looking at it as like, well, why are the women pushing it so much? Like, why do they want a confirmation so bad? Is it because they're frustrated because it's being flaunted and then you're denying it so hard? You know what I mean? Is it because, they want to celebrate you? Because that would be me as a friend. I'd be like, hey, I'm noticing this. I just want you to know, like, I'm here for you.
Right.
I want to celebrate whatever you're doing. And I don't know if Kyle doesn't feel that from them.
If
I don't know.
Was a late in life lesbian, the amount of celebration we would be doing about that revelation.
Literally, like, parties after parties after parties. Yeah. I mean, great. But I think the women, what I got when Bose and Rachel Zoe were talking about this, Rachel Zoe to me is a amazing top tier addition to this cast.
Yeah.
Open, vulnerable. She gives Chatty Dorit a run for her money with 17-minute voice notes. And I just love every bit of Rachel Zoe. But what Rachel and Bose are saying, or Boz, God, I always say that wrong.
No, it's Bose.
Bose, thank you.
Yep.
Is that everyone behind the scenes knows about it. So it's like, girl, it's not like she's hiding it from the women. She was just hiding it from cameras. And they're all like, but this is our life. So I get the sense.
And no shame.
On camera.
Yeah.
Right.
Then they're doing a music video. Like, I'm like, whoa.
But then, and like, there should be no shame. And like, and if Kyle was like more open about, I mean, look at her mom was and her family and how Kathy Hilton, you know what I mean? About like,
Kathy Hilton drops the F slur, like apparently, allegedly.
Right. And so it's like, these are real vulnerable things that she could share. But like Kyle, it feels like Kyle after season 2, it's been like, no, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Like do that. So
in this town, blah, 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 blah.
Every
listen,
tagline.
Did you all watch the video that I sent you from Watch What Happens Live?
Yes,
where Andy was talking to Dorit about this and goes, well, I'm glad Kyle finally broke the hymen. And everyone literally was like aghast. And then Andy goes, oh, they're yelling at me in my earpiece. I shouldn't have said that.
It was probably Daddy Basket being, because, he's a production of Beverly Hills and he loves Kyle. He probably was like, Andy, you can't say that. Kyle won't come back.
Don't make lesbian jokes. Not yet.
Yeah, not about the hymen, Andy. It was just like, I don't know. It was very odd to me, but
Andy,
I think
I've not been enjoying. Can I make a statement on this podcast?
You can.
I used to be a Watch What Happens Live obsessor. Every night after the show, I'd watch it. I can't really stomach it anymore. Like, I'm kind of like, this is either boring or cringe or like just dumb. So
yeah, it's not as good as but then there's random episodes that hit so hard. That's what's hard. I think it used to always be great. And now it's just kind of random episodes that hit.
Well, I also think like Andy as a person, here's the problem with being like an executive producer or like in with the talent is that the relationships with these women inform your perspective. And you can't be like on Watch What Happens Live interviewing people when you're secretly like, well, I know she'll be mad about this, so I'm going to maybe go a little bit. I think Andy is a little bit compromised in that way, but just because being a person and having these relationships. So I see your point there, Brady. I definitely do. But one thing I want to talk about is Dorit, because so here we have Dorit talking about PK, painting this picture that he's like not seeing his kids, he's not paying their bills, he's just abandoning them. And then you see Mauricio talk about how Dorit might be a little delusional. And I was like, boy, bye. But with that, like, boy, bye. Give me a break, number one. But number two, what really upset me was hearing Dorit talk about Jagger. How much I swear to you. And you know what? Here's the thing. I feel very protective of children because in my career as a therapist, even when adults are trying to do the right thing for kids, sometimes adults treat children like their feelings don't matter or exist and unintentionally gaslight them. And what I fear is happening with Jagger is that he's feeling all these big, intense emotions about dad being gone and where is he and what's going on and mom's upset and she's stressed out. and no one's talking to him about it. And kids do not have the ability to compartmentalize. Developmentally speaking, they don't have the cognitive capacity. So what happens is their feelings come out in behaviors. And adults look at the behaviors and they say, well, what's wrong with my child? And it's like, they need someone, like we need people to listen and to validate. Kids need that too. And sometimes adults think, well, this is too big or it's too much of an adult situation. And it's like, if you think kids don't understand every single bit of what's happening here, you're wrong. Because kids are little empaths, they're little intuitives, and they know exactly what's happening. And it just broke my heart.
No, and I, I think sometimes as parents, we have to remember to, like, I also have to remember for myself to, if I don't know the right course, ask for help. And while Dorit in her mind thought, oh man, the best thing is just to not tell them. I don't want to tell them because I don't want to hurt their feelings and their life is about to change. And in that moment, I really think she thought she was doing the best thing. And as a parent, all you can do is try to do like what you think is best in the moment.
That's right.
But in those moments, it is okay. Like what's great is like we do have like, school therapists or therapists out there that you can talk to and be like, how do I talk to my 11-year-old or however old he is about the appropriate way to talk about this? Because it is hard, but I think we're seeing the consequences of you and PK not being upfront, but them still seeing like, okay, something's different. Dad's not around. Mom seems upset. Okay, now I have figured out that they are getting a divorce. Well, what the heck does that mean? Am I not going to see dad anymore? Am I not? Mom is still like, seems very stressed. I need to take that on. And then her saying that he feels relief when her dad comes over. The poor kid is going through it. And my biggest thing with having my son, since the day he has been born, I have always talked to him like he is a human. I have always, and he's 3 now, and I always like try to present things in a way of like how a 3-year-old should be taught. You know what I mean? But he's still a human, and still he's very aware. If I'm upset, he's asking, "Mommy, why are you sad?" And I tell him, "This is what," you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, mommy's sad because of this, and it's okay to feel sad." And so, if you're going through a divorce, I understand you want to protect your kids, and you want to shield them from stuff, but that actually ends up hurting them because kids are so they're aware of more than what you think.
Absolutely.
Kids are like empathic psychics. I mean, they know. And to your point, though, I think Dorit is an amazing mom. I want to be clear about this. I think she's an amazing mother, and I do think she legitimately thought that she was doing the right thing to protect her children. But to your point, Lyndsay, is that you're not going to talk to your child the way that you talk to an adult about it, but you figuring out ways to talk to children in a developmentally appropriate manner, right? You're not going to get into the weeds. You're not going to discuss certain things. And fair enough if adults and parents don't know how to do that. But then to your point, you seek assistance. You get some feedback to figure out how do we go about this, because not telling them accidentally gaslights kids into being like, oh, I shouldn't trust my own feelings. For example, if your kid said to you, "Mommy, why are you sad?" and you're crying and you're like, "I'm not sad." Well, what are they supposed to do with that? They're like, well,
Wait,
what?
Mommy cries when she's not sad. Like it has to like confuse them even more.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I think we're seeing is that Jagger is having all of these emotions and he doesn't know what to do with them, because I believe the greatest gift that we can give children is to help them acknowledge and learn how to navigate tough emotions. That's the greatest gift we can give kids. And in fairness, sometimes adults aren't great at that, because if you're not in touch with your little inner child and you're not in touch with how to manage emotions yourself, well, how on earth are you going to teach a little person to do it? That's where getting the help comes into play, and not just sweeping something under the rug, because, kids are going to suffer because of that. So, oh my gosh.
I think that's where my disappointment with that comes in with Dorit, though, is like, you are wealthy, you have connections, you have access, or you have the, what's the word? The resources to figure out the best way to do this. And sometimes it seems like she innately went with the easiest one for her. And that's a little frustrating to see. Because I'm like, you could talk to a child psychologist and figure out the best way to navigate this. I do get she's doing the best she can. And like, I understand that, but it is a little bit like, girl, get a therapist, like pay someone to show you how to navigate this.
That's
like,
a good point.
Sometimes the people like that, it is looked as a downfall or a not, as a
like a weakness
shame.
or something.
Yeah, a weakness or shame that
that's-
you and for like you need to do that, which it's not.
That's my judgment of her then, is not being I don't know, aware enough or like in tune enough.
Brave enough, I
that,
think,
like,
maybe to use the resources.
Yeah.
Or because
even,
I think Brady, I think you're right. I think there's a part of Dorit that she doesn't want to deal with it. So then that's trickling down to her kids. So I think that's a very valid point.
Yeah.
And two things can be true. She's doing the best she can, but is she also doing a disservice to Jagger? Sure, she is. Because when you have the resources, what good are resources if you don't utilize them? They're no good.
And it would be great now to see if she had a conversation with him and be like, hey, mommy kind of messed up here, or I wish I would have done. I think that's the biggest thing you can do for your kid, is to own up to your mistake. Or sometime with Declan, I'm like, mommy got really frustrated. I'm really sorry. And that is like, oh, if I got that in my childhood, I wouldn't have to talk to little Lyndsay all the time.
Adults owning their behavior?
Exactly. But no, I'm not kidding. The greatest gift, I want people to hear this because what you said is so on point. The greatest gift we can give children is to own up to our mistakes and to apologize for our wrongdoings. Because to expect that you're not going to be snippy with your kid or frustrated or whatever, that's unrealistic. You're human, right? But to say to your child, I'm sorry, I was frustrated, and so I was a little rude, and own that. It's like you're doing a million good things for you and for your child. And I think that parents don't expect perfection, but you do have to own it and apologize. And yeah, like you said, if our parents had done that, we probably wouldn't be sitting here doing this right now. We'd be like astrophysicists, or I don't even know what I'd be doing. But
right, like
we would be so healed we wouldn't need to podcast.
We wouldn't.
Literally.
So like, yeah, if Dorit was like, hey Jagger, I've noticed like I kind of hide things from you, and I want us to have an open communication. Let me know if you have any questions about anything, and you can ask me anything. And I want to be more upfront with you about what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's always a way to change the course of that, so to speak. Yeah.
And you can always course correct too. Like,
always.
Her son isn't going anywhere. Like she can do it now. She doesn't have, like, it's not. I think sometimes too with stuff like that, it's like, well, it already happened, so I might as well just not. But it's like you can always course correct, babes.
That's exactly right. Which I think is a good message to kind of land on, is that, parenting is hard. There's no handbook. And listen, I'm not a parent. So I'm just speaking of this from a perspective of doing family therapy and working with children and understanding and hearing kids say, this is what I'm not getting from my parent that I need, right? So mine is more anecdotal data, but it's hard. There's no handbook. And that's why I think we should use all of our resources, whether it's therapy or, reading a book about this sort of thing. There's books about how to talk to your kids about divorce and things like that. So, but before we wrap up on this, one thing I definitely want to ask you all is the Jennifer Tilly's dick painting party.
Oh my gosh. I'd rather have a bag of dicks than a bowl of fruit.
Erica's, there's a shot where the guy drops his robe and Erica's face. I sent it to Melissa and Lyndsay, and I said, this image belongs in the Louvre.
Then one of the guys
just
butt out, pose back, like getting ready, about to get blown. Like he
do you mean get his back blown out?
Yes,
is that okay?
I was like,
that is what it looked like. And I was like, he's held that position for hours before.
And I don't know if you clocked, but one of the men looked like an old Jesse Lally. It really freaked me out.
The one with gray hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
I said, not future Jesse Lally at the Beverly Hills party trying to make a buck or two. Pay for his wine.
Yes, he needs to pay for the champagne.
Oh, it was anytime Jennifer Tilly's on my screen, I love it because her being like, caviar? What am I, made of money? And
it's
she's
like,
yes,
yeah,
I
bitch,
am.
you are made of money. You got Simpsons money. Yes, you are, actually. You have your own house to host parties in separate from the house that you live in.
For your haunted stuff, you have a whole house for. Oh. And for her saying, like, I don't think we unmasked any art geniuses here. Like, she's just so, she's
gives
so silly.
me life. And honestly, I do think without her, Beverly Hills lacks, because you do need, without, for example, in this episode, without this penis painting party, it would have just been like, kind of like, you know, okay, but it was so light. It was so funny. I loved it so much. I'm dying to ask you, what do you think of newbie Amanda?
I don't
we're all making faces. Oh, we don't get good vibes, do we?
No.
I don't.
So you're on the show. Okay, so you bought Kyle's house. Okay, so you wrote a book about money. Okay. I don't know. I'm pretty good like with a housewife. If I get a good vibe, I don't even say like she's bad. Like I don't know. I'm skeptical.
I'm skeptical. I would say
I am also skeptical. Can I be honest? The second that I saw her, I was like, no. I barely heard her say like one word. And I was just like, no, I don't like the vibe. I don't like the energy. I definitely think that she has a chip on her shoulder.
Yes.
And so on Watch What Happens Live, the one thing that we did get is that Andy asked Dorit about Amanda. Also, when I can't remember someone's name, that usually means I am not into them at all. So I was like, what's her name? Amanda and Dorit get into like a big thing and they do not like each other at all. So that is, so we're going to see that to come in Dorit. And spoiler alert, it has not gotten any better.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, and I already I love Bose and I trust her with my life. So I can tell she doesn't like vibe with Amanda. So immediately I was like, I hate her. I don't like her.
I follow her lead too. I'm telling you.
No, she's
got a good picker.
Yeah. And I also think like, I know like some people like her and Dorit are so close, but I actually really enjoyed that. And I actually think she can talk to Dorit in a certain way that other people can't. And also like understands Dorit, but also can check her when appropriate. And so I don't know. I don't really. Okay, so you're on the show because you bought Kyle's house.
Basically.
And by the way, you know what else made me not trust her? She tore up those gorgeous floors of Kyle's.
She's
Brady
for that.
Did you not like the floors to begin with?
Those are 2012 Kardashian foyer tiles. I think they're out of date. I think they're beautiful.
Well,
I'm not going to poo-poo on them as a human who's like broke. But like, do I think that they're like chef's kiss taste? No. I think
no. Okay. All right. Well, you totally changed my opinion because while they are gorgeous, they probably are outdated. You're right. They probably are outdated. But okay, yeah. So
I just see Kris Jenner's foyer every time I see
It did very
tiles
much
like
give
that.
Kardashian vibes.
I will say what I did
fair.
like about Amanda is she was so cunty. She was like, I meant it in a good way.
Of course.
Jennifer was like, oh, you remind me of that Dior runway show from 1985 where they did ball gowns and leather jackets. And Amanda just goes, I was born in 1985. And Jennifer Tilly was just like, you were born in...
They're like, what's 1985? I was selling sandwiches and salads. Salads were more expensive, so I pushed the salads. I said, Jennifer Tilly.
She goes, I was trying to make it in 1985, and Amanda was trying to make it out of the womb.
Jennifer Tilly said, I was 72 years old in 1985.
All those women, they were like, you're how old?
They were aghast.
Aghast. They were pissed. But I did think it was very funny in a good way that it's like she said that to check these women. She was like,
she did.
Yeah.
She said,
I'm
40,
young,
bitches.
I'm rich as fuck. That's the name of her book, by the way, Rich as Fuck. I'm young, I'm rich as fuck, and I'm here to chin check all of you. And I was like, oh, well, listen, what I think Amanda's going to do is shake up this franchise.
I do think so.
Then bless then. Because someone needs to come in.
I will say though, I think Amanda will shake it up, but she won't shake it up in the way that I want. Because I watched the after show last week. I didn't watch it this week because the episode was actually interesting. So I didn't need more content. When I watched it last week, I noticed Amanda sits with Kyle during it. And if we're getting a Kyle lackey, I'm like a little iffy on that. I don't really need another mouthpiece for Kyle, but we'll see how it plays out, I guess. I won't prejudge, but I'm a little nervous about that.
Well, but then also if she's not getting along with Dorit, that seems very convenient for Kyle.
Doesn't it though? Doesn't it though? I mean,
I say let's put Lisa Vanderpump back on this show to terrorize Kyle because I need Kyle to feel unsafe.
I told you before, Lisa won't do it.
I'm just going to secret it. We watched Vanderpump Rules. Venus explained manifesting, and I'm secreting it.
Oh my God, not the secret.
Well, you know what? Andy asked Kyle on a Watch What Happens Live if Lisa Vanderpump had showed up for the reunion that she left, that she didn't show up for, and then she was fired and all that. Does Kyle think that she'd still be a cast member? And Kyle's like, no. But I mean, of course, you know, she's going to say that. So, anything else before we wrap up here that, you know, from Beverly Hills or anything that you wanted to mention?
I'm obsessed with Rachel Zoe. And I think two things about her cracked me up this episode. Tilly being like, she's like the most famous stylist in LA. Like Tilly was like nervous about Rachel coming to her house, which I kind of love. I feel like that's like that Kathy level of keeping them on their toes. Like,
yes,
like we got to stiffen up. Rachel's coming. And I also died when Rachel's son was going off to camp and the assistant was next to him with her little laptop typing in an Excel spreadsheet what we're packing for camp. I thought that was just rich person bullshit of my favorite kind. Like the assistant better be figuring out what she's packing for the son who's going to camp. Like, you better be rich. Love it.
And I love Rachel too because we're only 2 episodes in, and I think she's appropriately talking about her ex in a way that, because it's complicated.
Slowly giving us hints.
Well, and it's complicated because they have children, and it seems very like messy. And I really related to her when she was talking about like, I kind of realized I had all this like anxiety and that I was walking on eggshells. And you don't realize that until you're out of a relationship like that you were literally becoming a shell of a person and have all this anxiety in your body. And that doesn't go away, you know what I mean? Like instantly. And it actually takes a long time to not have that feeling. So I just appreciate her. I think Rachel is being very vulnerable in a way that she can right now. Because again, with her kids, and she even says like, my kids sometimes are like, why does dad act this way? Why does dad do this? And she's like, I'm trying to figure it out too, kid. So
it seems like she addresses it in an appropriate way.
Yes, I think
that's
she has
exactly that. Yes,
like it doesn't feel like it's crossing a line or making anything harder for kids. I feel like it feels very appropriate.
I feel that Dorit could take a page from Rachel Zoe's book, and so can all the other housewives. Because I'm being honest, in 2 episodes of Beverly Hills, Rachel Zoe is giving us more than some of these women have given in seasons.
Yeah.
And in ways that are like, okay, so she's not going to completely throw Roger under the bus, but she is going to talk about it from her perspective and not try to poison the well necessarily, but just say, this is what it felt like to me without completely talking down about him or what. I just think she's doing everything so well that these other women should take note. For sure.
And I still see that there was a lot of love there. I think the way she talks about him, of how, you know, we were so opposites, but that worked. But then we had kids. And I feel like the way that she described, you know, I got to a place where I felt like, you know, who is this person? And I need to protect myself and kids. Like, I feel like she says it in such a way where I'm like, okay, I want to know more, but I also really respect how she's like talking about it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and I don't know, I just really enjoy her. And I'm not someone, I didn't watch like her other shows. So I know people like love her, but this is my first time really seeing. I know. I didn't.
Bish Nation, if you haven't seen the Rachel Zoe Project, you need to know that little like 10-year-old gay Brady was living his goddamn life watching that show.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
So good. I feel like it informed so many parts of me. It's such a delight. And she's a mess. Sometimes she's a mess.
Oh my God. But in the best way.
Yes.
But Brady, wait, stop. Speaking of age shaming, were you really 10 when that came out?
Hold on. When did Rachel Zoe Project premiere?
He was young.
2008. I was 15.
17.
I was 15.
Okay.
So not 10.
I had already graduated college, so you both
Whatever,
can-
Tilly.
Yeah.
1985.
Yeah.
What's
Get out of here, old lady.
So this is not cool, and I feel attacked. Okay.
Oh, listen.
No, okay.
Listen.
All right, listen.
I'm sorry I'm so young.
I'm so young.
Yeah,
My
you should
skin
be
is so
sorry, you
taut.
young little
Do
bitch.
you use chopsticks and break up the fat pads? Salt Lake
I
City.
need a lot more than a chopstick to break the fat pad.
Hey, don't talk about my friend like that.
I love my fat pads. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, good. Now listen, we could sit here and Kiki for 17 hours, but we sadly have to wrap this up because we're recording for your pod. So listen, for everyone listening to this, if you loved this episode, please tell everyone where they can find you and hear part 2 of this episode.
You can find us every Tuesday and sometimes Thursdays, if we're feeling generous, on our podcast, Recap Rodeo. If you want to follow along on Instagram, it's at Recap Rodeo. And we also run at Vanderpod Recaps on Instagram. If you need any Vanderpump Podcast, Bravo Podcast recap news, it's where you can get the tea on everything that's going on in the Bravo and reality universe.
Yes. Thank you, friend, for having us on. We always enjoy
so much. This is the most fun hour I've had in a long time, and I can't wait to Kiki on yours. So again, check out Recap Rodeo because we're going to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac and Vanderpump Rules. And also, I wanted to remind people, don't forget to please rate and subscribe to the podcast. Give it a 5-star rating, please. Don't be mad at me about one thing that I said and then say that I'm a horrible person. People love doing that. So thank you. We appreciate your 5-star reviews. And also, this video, you can find it on Spotify, YouTube, and Patreon, where you can get it. Bonus content, early release, ad-free. That's right. And we have a Kiki over on Patreon. So come see what all the fuss is about at Your Bish Therapist on www.patreon.com. For today, thank you all for listening. Ta-ta for now.
Bye, Bish Nation. Love you.
Disclaimer. Posts are not intended to diagnose, treat, or provide medical advice. Your Bish Therapist is for entertainment and informational purposes only. The podcast, my opinions, and posts are my own and not associated with past or present employers, any organizations, Bravo TV, Greyheart Productions, or any other television network. The information in YBT podcast and on its social media is provided for general informational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose or treat. Please do not act or refrain from acting based on anything you read, see, or hear on YBT podcast or associated social media. Communicating with YBT via email and or social media does not form a therapeutic alliance. Melissa, operator of YBT, is unable to provide any therapeutic advice, treatment, or feedback.